So, yes, we will pick up one after the other. You raised that topic that is very good because that is our topic today. Sadhana means practices. Practices to bring about a fundamental change in our life, in our personality, in our attitude. We all have to live into the same world. So I change from inside and I have a right perception of that event. Finished. Life is done. So in the younger days, I gave you an example. In younger days when my kids were small, and I see that they are not listening. So I used to rehearse in my mind. So outside, why are you not doing it? But inside there is no problem. The heart is not beating fast. It's a play. It's a fun. To get the things done. I know you're taking care of the company and a lot of employees. So outside, why are you not doing, Claudia? This is not the right way. So your perception is that I am angry because you are not doing it. So I want to get the things done. I told you 100 of times and you are not following when I told you with all the love and care. But inside is peace. So anger also has a role to play. When you are not angry, you express your anger and get the things done. Sometimes you are driving. You have to speed up to save yourself. You see that? Sometimes you avoid an anger. This guy is repeating the same thing. Okay, I will take care of you later. My father used to be angry all the time, but I was going to the master. I was full, at the young age, of 21, 22. Master said, you have not to be angry. Otherwise, I will throw you out of the monastery. Those masters are very tough. Follow the principle. Otherwise, don't come back. I don't expect anything from you. It was difficult. At the age of 21, 22, you are full of energy. I used to hold it. No, my master told me, otherwise he will throw me out. But gradually I learned it. Then father became angry over something and I told Dad, can we have a cup of tea and sit together and talk? Finished. Oh, there is a level of awareness inside. And I start playing with it. And since then, he stopped anger. He said, no, it is not affecting him. So we have to reach to that state. That can happen instantly as a knowledge practice. You are understanding, it has gone deeper inside your head, your mind is pure. Pure means it is not affected by any outer event, and you see the event according to the society, according to the profession, is not appearing good, but your mind is not affected. You might have taken a decision for the sake of the company and the organization, for the sake of the progress, for the sake of continuity of the activity. So you simply reflect on that rather than reflecting on a person you laid off. Do you see that? So when you see that with the right knowledge, with the right awareness, that is known as the knowledge practice, and for which you need not to do anything. It simply awakens. But that happens That happens when the mind is pure. That happens when the intellect is clear. So until then, what should we do? We should learn the principles. We should continue to do the practice. We should continue to do the practice. Now you have been doing the practice, you have been understanding the principles, applying those principles. The time comes, there is a void. Your mind lives in silence. Somebody has said you something, maybe insulted you. The mind goes behind. So it appears that there is a little frustration. We are going into the little higher degree of practices. So that void has come is a transition. It will help you to reveal the knowledge from within. It is bringing the fundamental change in you. So there are three stages. First is you live into that wisdom. That is why I say it is Eastern wisdom. You live into that wisdom. So when you live into that wisdom, the thoughts that comes to your mind also carries that wisdom. But when the thought carries that wisdom, how can you have a heart beating that goes high or low? It can never happen. It will never happen. Tell your dad, doctor, that this is what we say in science, parasympathetic dominance. There is an autonomic nervous system. So two parts. One is sympathetic. So sympathetic excites. It raises your blood pressure. It increases the poison in the blood, creatinine level. It also twitches the face, makes you tense, all the symptoms of anxiety. And parasympathetic brings everything down. So science says that autonomic nervous system balance. So when you are learning these principles and doing the practice, learning through your experiences, there is a parasympathetic dominance. So what it means? Calmness. Any event is happening outside, sympathetic is here. That will excite you, that will irritate you, that will agitate you. So what has happened? Even if it is agitating, it is going up to this level. But the calming nature is still above. The resource is still higher than the pressure. So I explain this. My blood pressure at the age of the 60 is 110/70, which is considered, when it is you are below normal, it is considered a healthier state. So now see 110/70. Unfortunately, even if I get irritated and I'm angry, that 70 maximum will go up to 80. I'm still in the normal range. Even if it goes to 85, I'm still able to manage it. That is what happens by these practices. So you are able to maintain that parasympathetic dominance all the time. All the time. So that gives you the right perspective of the event, and this is where the Eastern wisdom takes you. That is why we say the Buddha is full of compassion. That is why we say that the Jesus was full of kindness and compassion. So you reach, and that is basically a mental transformation. That is basically a mental transformation. So we'll pick up a couple of concepts. The first is, we have understood the steps of the journey and the default journey of the life. Default journey of the, default journey of the life. So, there is only one aspect. The mind is facing to the world and claims it is me. And the mind is facing to the self and declares it is me. So when mind is facing to the self, our real nature, that parasympathetic, the second level comes. Science always finds out what is objective to me. What we are searching, we are finding our true nature, that is purely subjective. I believe you understand what is objective and subjective. What is I, the real I, is always full of peace and happiness, love and wisdom. Love and wisdom. That is what I discovered after a few months of interaction with the same dad. Dad is the same. He still becomes angry. But now I am not. It is not affecting me. What happened? It is that knowledge revealed in you. That his becoming angry has no influence on me. So I can deal with the situation, with the people very easily. It becomes a play and fun. So you are angry if I say, okay. No, if I are angry and if I tell you that, no, don't become angry, that is what many people will say. But you have a new revelation. So every time my father used to be angry, so do you like a cup of tea? Don't you listen to me what I'm saying? I like to listen to you in the state of the calmness, so let us have a cup of tea, sit together, and then you can speak. Are you listening to me? Yes, I have heard you. I'm not ready to listen in that state. I have heard you. I'm giving you some tips how to deal with employees and other people. And once you do it, I'm telling you, once you do it, you express in that way, you will experience a total inner peace, a joy. You'll feel the sensation of that calmness and the peace in the entire body. The mind is clear. You are focused. You are focused. So this is what the mind is facing to the world, and you know the teacher. Yes, now see that is the choice lies with us all the time. All the time. We have one choice. You are angry, so I have a choice to react, to retaliate. So this mind has...
Let me turn off my alarm.
Okay.
Sorry.
Now,
that's the time I usually wake up.
Oh, that's the time. So I wake you up early. I wake up at around 4 or sometime 3:30. I do my practices until 6, and then I'm ready to do anything. So in this journey, first 2 or 3 sessions from today, we are going to understand, first is the knowledge practice, the highest. What is the knowledge practice? You know yourself, you are aware, and deeper inside you allow the peace and happiness to express in the world outside, in any event, with people, with things. Indian family, the wife always cooks, and for a few years I had some choices of food, and I said, okay, cook this. We always cook, morning and evening. Mm-hmm. That's a tradition. After a few years, it clicked to my mind. I said, if one day if she does not cook the way I like, it will create a problem to me. And why I eat food? Food for the sake of energy. So what should I do? From that day I said, whatever you cook is the best. I have no preference. And I have every preference. I like everything. Yesterday she was saying, the eggplant and the potato, now you eat this, you will love it. I liked it. I said, okay, it's all about the food, and food gives me the energy. And I appreciated her. Very small things, when it is structured in thought, causes worries, anxiety, suffering. Very small things. It's not big. If you look from that wisdom, from that knowledge. So I had no problem. And every day she cooks, and I said, this is good. But the best part is that every day I get something new. But when I restrict myself, what I like, here are my preferences, 5 things, what will happen to me? So think of a bigger picture in life, how to live in that peace and happiness. Knowledge practice. And the second is knowledge we get or practice in time and in the space. You said that it takes you 15 minutes to reach here. So this is the goal, to be here. It takes me 40 minutes to reach here. So time and the space. I have to cover a distance. So that is another group of practice lower than the knowledge. So what we do, that is what I gave you, the different practices based on the different principles. So that needs to be continued. You should continue, you should not leave the practice. Not leave the practice. And I gave you an example, one practice, the longer one maybe you can do in the morning and in the evening before going to sleep. And other practices like small one, 4-step relaxation. You have 10 minutes in the office, do the practice. Don't forget it. When the mind reminds you that you have to be in peace, that's the beginning of a change. That is why I told you that you can do the practice. Okay, just do the 25 breath in the office. You are talking to someone that your mind doesn't like. Start doing the breathing and then communicate. To transition into the higher state, the knowledge practice. And the third group of the practice, you have been doing it intensively every day. The time comes, the mind doesn't want to go outside. It doesn't feel any sense of anxiousness. You may feel that you have become disinterested in the activities. Don't worry, that's the right time. The mind is maturing. It is growing. You may feel a void. You're doing it, and the knowledge reveals.
I think it's funny you say that because remember when we started, I would tell you I'm trying to relax, but all I can think about is work. And this past Sunday, I didn't think about work, and I was relaxed, and I was at home. So I stopped worrying so much.
There is a change. There is a definite change. You see, that is why I picked up these small topics. I think there is two things, and then we will do the practice. Sadhana means practice. So I gave you that example. Sadhana means, understand that there are 3 meanings, and that will make it clear. What is sadhana? Sadhana means that just you did the sadhana, means you did the practice. You left the home went too far, and the studio approaching very near to you. At the same time, simultaneous. See that? So what happens when you're learning these principles and understanding, you are going too far from the anxiety, reaction, irritation. You are not fighting with them. In modern science, in medical science, we fight with them. Anger management. How the hell you can manage your anger? And if you are managing your anger, the anger will return again. That is the concept of management. Whether you say personal management, whether you say corporate management, it is a continuous process. What we are doing we are leaving the anger too far, we are leaving the anxiety too far, as if they do not belong to me. And there comes a realization that no, it doesn't belong to me. But I can express anger to get the things done without getting angry inside. So that is one meaning of the entire journey. The second meaning is upaya. Upaya means. What is the method? How to apply? Which method to apply? So I gave an example, 4-step relaxation. It's a very passive practice. Nobody notices it. You are doing a deep silent, slow breathing. Nobody notices it. And then I'll give you some of the mantra practices. That can easily be done during the day. Even nobody is noticing you. You are in a group. You can do that practice easily. And the third is abhyas. Abhyas means regular practice. So one expression is there, regular practice for a longer period. How long it is? So that famous author from Canada, Michael Gladwell, he says when you do 10,000 hours of practice, you reach to the level of the expertise. So he analyzed a lot of successful people, including Bill Gates and Beats, who used to sing. What I say that 1 hour of what we are learning together, 30 hours of contemplation, means you invoke those principles during the day, during the entire week, and these 10 hours passes so easily. But what will happen if you have really contemplated, you have invoked, what this real guy was talking, he was talking like this, so you forget, you go back again, you listen to it and you remember. So what will happen, this 10 hours will clarify the mind and the intellect. And then you follow the practice. And once you follow the practice, the life changes. So you rightly said that, it happens by regular practice. By regular practice, you did simply the 4-step relaxation and there was no thought related to the office. It means what? First step of the practice. You're going too far from what is not desired. You're doing a relaxation practice. Office is not desired. Husband is not desired. See that. Food is not desired. You're not desiring everything. You're desiring relaxation. And still the mind is attracting what should not be there. No, you're sitting here and you think, I should have been in my house. That doesn't make any sense. See the understanding, clarity. So once you have that clarity, it works. So let us take one more. What Eastern wisdom is asking from us? Can you make out what Eastern wisdom is asking from us? What Eastern wisdom is asking from us? Can you see that? Can you make out clear?
To always have a pure mind.
to always live into that state of peace and happiness. How simple. Simple. What is it is asking, let me see, what Eastern, yeah, I think I'll cover that and then we'll do the practice. It is simply asking, know yourself, know your true nature. And where your true nature lies, always with you, whether you are sleeping in the office with husband or with anyone, whether you are traveling, you are always with yourself. Do you see that? It is asking a very simple thing. But because of the thinking, the past impression, because of the anxiety, the reactions that we have accumulated, and we have created an acquired personality, the mind wants to live into that because of the habit, and that causes the suffering. There is no other suffering in the world. So think, when you start thinking in that way, more and more thinking, contemplation and reflection followed by the practice, the life changes. The life has to change. Eastern wisdom is not asking how much money you have earned to be in peace. Eastern wisdom is not asking how wonderful husband is or how cruel the husband or wife is. Not asking. It is asking, do you know yourself? Do you know your true nature? It is simply asking. So whether the person is cruel or wonderful, when I find myself, I know how to deal with it. I know how to deal with any situation. Are you getting it?
Yes.
That is very important. Can we attain the real self in time, space and effort? That we will take later. So understand, practice also means the knowledge practice. Anytime, anywhere. Anytime, anywhere. Suddenly the pain and the mind is start having a fear and the doubt, what will happen? What will happen? That causes the suffering. But when you do this practice, that suffering in the mind does not happen. You take care of the pain. That's so simple. You are hungry, so I have to eat food. But hunger, this should not cause the suffering in me. It should maintain the parasympathetic dominance. Ask your dad, what is this parasympathetic and sympathetic? So he'll explain you differently, so it will give you a new insight. So your resource level is very high. And this sympathetic is constantly hesitating. Suddenly you hear the noise, but if the pitch and the intensity of the noise has been too loud, what will happen? This sympathetic says, doubt, fear. What happened? Let me see. Excitement, hesitation. See that. So apply the same noise coming from the employee. Resources is okay. Very good. I know, you're right. Come and sit. Unless the person calms down, only the person can listen to you in the calmer state. But if you fight, you force one to listen, nothing is going to happen. Except maybe for a few days, it may be because of the fear. It may happen. That is what happens to our kids also. If you see those, in the beginning, we press, we force. And once these kids grow, I know dad is crazy. Mom is crazy. It is because of me. So, sadhana, instantly, that comes at a later stage when we start listening the principles and continuing the practice. And now what is going to happen that during the day, anytime you have done the practice, you find relaxation, that is okay. But when you are sitting in the office and you experience a total void in the mind, total void. As if, your mind's, I don't know what to do. Stay there. Don't worry about it. It is clarity, it is cleansing. It is moving you into the purity. Don't worry about it. So these three things has to go together to succeed in this journey. So let us start another practice to